All right, today's assignment is about 2-point perspective. So this is just our beginning activity, and again, there will be a series of activities that kind of go from simple to more complex. When we were talking about 1-point perspective, we were looking at an object or a box, in this case, straight on. Now we realize that we don't always look at everything in our world straight on. Sometimes we're looking at an angle. So an angle, when we look at this object or box from an angle, what we see first, or we're going to think about first, is this corner. So if this box is somewhere above our heads, we're going to see the bottom of the box and two sides. If it is our eye level, we're going to see just two sides. And if it is below our eye level, we are going to see the top and two sides. So the important thing to remember with 2-point perspective is that we are starting with this corner, and then the receding lines or converging lines are going to use two different vanishing points. So that's why this is called 2-point perspective. So this time we're going to set up our sketchbook page so it is on the side or landscape. And this just makes it a little bit more realistic for 2-point perspective. On your page, go ahead and label 2-point perspective. Write the date. And then go ahead and sign your name. Either use your artist signature or just sign your name. All right, now what we're going to do is we are going to divide our paper in half, about in half, with a horizon line. So I'm going to use my ruler, and I am going to make a line that goes across the page. This is my eye level or horizon line, so let's go ahead and label it. And because this is 2-point perspective, we need two vanishing points. So you're going to place one vanishing point on the right-hand side of the paper, and then you're going to place another one on the left. And I do want you to label those. It's very important that you have those, that you don't just make a line and then don't put vanishing points on it. I see that happen a lot with people who are new to 2-point perspective, and then it gets confusing. All right, so because we are starting with the corner of the box now, because we're looking at it from an angle, what we're going to do is we are going to be setting up and we're going to be making 15 boxes. 15 boxes. And the idea is that we are going to spread our boxes out all over this page. We want 5 boxes above, 5 boxes that somehow touch this line, and then 5 boxes that are below. So I'm going to use this marker to draw the corner of my box and get started before I draw it receding back in space. So the first thing I am doing, maybe about an inch and a half for these lines. These are vertical. So some of them I'm going to make closer to the horizon line. Some of them I'm going to make higher up. And then some are going to be on the left and some are going to be on the right. So I have 5 lines above my horizon line or eye level. You can vary the sizes. I made mine all about the same height, but that's up to you. I'm now going to make 5 lines that are somehow touching the horizon line. They either start at the horizon line and go down, or they're like half above, half below. And again, I'm making them all across the page. And now I'm going to make 5 more below. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So we are just starting, like I said, with a single edge. what's going to happen is we are going to draw our converging lines back to the vanishing point, and we are then going to determine how deep the box is, so how far back in space, and then we're going to draw the bottom. So I'm going to start with my pencil now, and I am going to work on this one right here. If you want to watch me do this and then follow along, you can. If you want to follow along with me and pause the video as I complete each step, you can do that also. So this represents the corner of my box. What I like to do is I like to make a dot at the top and the bottom of that line, that vertical line, and I am going to use my ruler, pivot on the vanishing point, and I am going to draw a line that goes from this dot at the top, a converging line, back to my right vanishing point. Then I'm going to pivot my ruler again, and I'm going to make another line that goes from the bottom of my corner back to the right vanishing point. So these are not parallel with each other. These are converging lines. The angle changes based on the pivot. So I'm going to do the same thing on the left side. Top of the corner to the left, bottom of the corner to the left. So again, I can draw it all the way back. I am going to eventually end up erasing those lines, so I am drawing pretty lightly. So these are going to be the two sides of my box right here. It's going to be the right-hand side, the left-hand side, and then I'll have to do the bottom. Before I can do the bottom, I need to determine how far or how deep the box is. And this is where we're going to use a parallel line. So for the parallel line, I make and I line up my ruler with my original corner. It is vertical, and I pull it back to the left, however far I want to pull it back, and I am going to draw a cutoff line. It is vertical also. So this is parallel to that. I'm going to go ahead and erase the part of the converging line that is not on the left side of the box. This is going to be the left side of the box. So now I'm going to determine how deep the right-hand side of the box is. I line up the vertical. At the corner, I pull it over to the right. Make sure that we're not angling this, that this stays vertical. I'm checking in with the side of my paper. That's a good spot to also see, is my line, is my ruler going to be vertical? And I draw another cutoff line for the right-hand side of this box. So go ahead and erase the part of the converging or receding line that is not part of the right-hand side of that box. So what I have done is I have just determined, and I've drawn this line right here. This is the depth of the box on the right side. And I have drawn this line right here. That is the depth of the box on the left side. So the thing to do next is to make the bottom of the box. I think the biggest mistake, I'm going to show it because it happens. I don't want you to follow this step, but what happens most time is kids don't know what to do, and they just draw a vertical or a line that connects the back two corners. Well, that doesn't make a four-sided bottom. I need a four-sided bottom. This is a cube. So when I see the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I do for this is I'm going to crisscross. I am going to take the back left corner from that corner, and I'm going to go over to the right vanishing point. It is the opposite vanishing point. This and this are not parallel. They are different angles. So left corner to the right vanishing point. Now I'm going to take the right back corner and crisscross, go to the opposite left vanishing point. I say crisscross because these lines would actually cross over each other. So that is the bottom of my box. So there it is. I have my two sides and I have my bottom. Nothing over here is parallel. Nothing over here is parallel. These are all converging lines. The parallel lines are the vertical lines. Vertical, vertical, vertical. So go ahead and shade in the bottom of the box with a value. I'm using a pretty dark value right here. And it's pretty important that as you do these boxes, you're using your ruler. If you don't have a ruler, you're going to use a straight edge, which is just the edge of, you could use a book or your notebook. You could use the edge of a piece of paper if you wanted to fold a piece of paper in half. So I'm shading the bottom, and then I'm shading one side. And whatever side I choose to shade, I'm going to make it a little lighter than the bottom. So I'm done. You're going to do this 15 times. So I'm going to show you how to do one on the line that's touching the horizon line, and then I'm going to show you how to do one on the bottom, and you're going to repeat the process till you finish all 15 boxes. So when you have a box that's on the horizon line, we can't see the top of the box, we can't see the bottom of the box, we can only see the two sides. So this one's pretty easy. It's fewer lines. Again, I start with that front corner of my box, and I'm going to take a converging line from the top of the box or corner to the left vanishing point, bottom, left, bottom, right, pivot, top, right. So I'm going to line up my ruler with the original corner. I'm going to slide it to the left, however far that I want to slide it. And I draw a cutoff line. This tells me how deep that side is. I'm going to go ahead and erase the part of the converging line that's not part of the box. And I'm going to also erase this line here. So this is part of the horizon line that I originally drew. So now that side of the box is solid. Line up my ruler again at the center, and I'm going to slide it over to the right, however deep that box is going to be, I get to pick. Keeping it vertical, vertical, vertical. Again, I'm going to erase the part of the horizon line that is inside of the box and any of the converging lines. So on the box that is at eye level, I just want you to shade in one side. If you want to get fancy with your shading, you can experiment with some transitions. So the farther away the box is, the darker it is. And then as that side of the box comes and pops out or gets closer to you, it gets a little lighter. Not completely necessary though, but you do need to shade one side. All right, so for something that is underneath the eye level or horizon line, I'm first going to start with the sides. So I always start with the sides first. Then I'm going to draw out the top of the box. So this is the corner we're starting with. We're going to draw 2 lines to the right vanishing point, 2 lines to the left vanishing point, draw the cutoffs, and then crisscross. So there are quite a few more steps in this process than the 1-point perspective. There is the corner of my box. I'm going to draw a line to the right vanishing point from the bottom, and then right from the top. So these converging lines change angles. They're not parallel. Now I'm going to go from the bottom of the corner to the left vanishing point, the top of the corner to the left vanishing point. And notice how I'm not drawing those all the way back. However, they would connect all the way back. I'm just saving myself some time when I'm erasing it. So how deep do I want this box to be? Well, that's up to you. So line it up parallel. It's going to be vertical with the corner. I'm going to slide it to the right, keeping it vertical. I'm checking with the edge of the paper. And that's going to be my cutoff. I'm going to erase the part of the converging lines that are not going to be part of the box. I'm going to, again, line it up with the front corner of the box and then move to the left, keeping it vertical. Again, I'm checking in. It's not quite vertical there. So the last thing to do is to draw the top of the box. This is where we do the crisscross. The crisscross is going to go to the opposite vanishing point. So if this is the right-hand side of the box, this is the back right corner, I'm going to go to the left vanishing point. So I am actually connecting those two dots with my ruler and drawing my line back to the opposite. Then I'm going to go from the back left corner to the opposite vanishing point. I'm going to crisscross, crisscross. So again, that and that are not parallel. See how I have to pivot my ruler? It changes the angle. They are all converging lines. I'm going to erase the part of the converging line that is not part of my box. I'm going to shade the top of my box with a dark value. And then I'm going to pick one side to shade, and it's not important which one. You can pick either one. I'm going to shade one side with a lighter value. So this is going to help it look just a little bit three-dimensional. So that is the examples. Now you're going to continue to do all of these boxes. I do recommend you do one box at a time. So that means that if I'm going to do this box, I'm going to do the right, the left, I'm going to crisscross and finish it. I do not recommend taking your ruler and doing all the ones on the right-hand side. It just starts to get pretty confusing. So start with one corner, do the right-hand side, back to the right vanishing point, left-hand side, next to the left vanishing point. Now I'm going to do this one as if it were going to overlap or underlap. And I am going to, let's say, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line, vertical line. I'm still going to want to know where the back corner is so that I can do the crisscross when I need to. So left side, right side. This is the back right corner. I'm going to go to the opposite left vanishing point. Had to find that left corner, the left back corner, even though it was overlapped. I still need to know where it was. And then I'm going to go to the opposite. So those actually crisscross over. Erase any part of the converging line I don't need. Shade the bottom pretty dark. Shade one of the sides lighter. So I'm going to come back and do a little bit better job shading here. So the only parallel lines in this drawing for the 15 boxes are your vertical lines. Every other line should be angled towards the vanishing point, and it depends on which vanishing point. If you're doing a side, you're using the same side vanishing point. This is on the right, uses the right. This is on the left, uses the left. For the bottom or the top, we're going to use the opposite vanishing point. So go ahead and finish up 15 boxes and you'll be ready to start the more complex shapes in the next video.